The only one of its kind in South Africa, Onderstepoort Veterinary Academic Hospital takes pride of place within the University of Pretoria's Faculty of Veterinary Science. It offers comprehensive, affordable treatment to furry, feathered, and scaled patients, including pets and wildlife of all shapes and sizes, 24 hours a day. You can be confident that all our patients are in caring and competent hands of qualified experts assisted by enthusiastic, attentive students under professional supervision. The facility is a center of excellence, with specialists covering an unrivaled variety of disciplines all under one roof. We serve the community through our location visits to help care for those who can't do so themselves. Each case becomes a model of best practice, clinically and ethically, with treatment based on scientifically proven research and knowledge. The experience and expertise of the specialists can also provide innovative solutions to unusual problems, and when an inside view is needed, digital radiography, ultrasound, computer tomography, and nuclear imaging are available to facilitate diagnosis. No matter whether you're big with a routine little problem or tiny with a big ache, you'll always be welcome at the Onderstepoort Veterinary Academic Hospital, and you can be sure that you'll receive the best care possible.
Good morning, Dumelang, goeiemorgen. Hearty welcome to everybody at this special Faculty Day for 2021. If I may introduce myself, I'm Barney Penzon. I'll be your Master of Ceremonies for today. I've been at the faculty longer than I would care to remember. I'm regarded as part of the furniture. If you look closely, you'll see that I have a tattooed barcode as one of the fixtures here. So at the start of the proceedings of what promises to be a very exciting day of science and history, let's just go to a few housekeeping rules for this virtual faculty day. For a start, please be on time. You can check up on the updated program for today, which is at the link that you can see on the screen right there. So it's just at opvetfacultyday.co.za. And then also just please give grace. Be patient. If a speaker is having a technical issue, that can always happen. Just hang in there for a minute and it'll be sorted out. But please be an active attendee and give feedback to the speakers. And the presentations will be made available. And please, there is a chat room. Use the chat during the course of the day to say hello to the other attendees and discuss any matters that you would like to. And also, please visit the booths of the sponsors, without whom this day would not have been possible. Please interact with them. You can ask questions. And yeah, please support them because they supported us. And if you need any assistance, then go back to the opvetfacultyday.co.za and you can see the purple chat bottom at the right-hand corner. So just click there and somebody will assist you. And then please also update your profile with a photo and a short bio. Go to the setting and update the profile. So that's all from me at this stage. It's now my pleasure to introduce Professor Vinny Naidoo, who is the Dean of the Faculty of Veterinary Science, who will do the formal welcoming and opening. So over to you, Professor Vinny.
A very warm welcome to staff, students, and faculty guests this morning for Faculty Day 2021. I would also like to take the opportunity to give a very special welcome to Peter Soskovsky, who will be presenting today's keynote presentation on male infertility and semen evaluation, andrology in the age of precision medicine and agriculture. We are also privileged to have our VC and Principal, Professor Tawana Cooper, addressing us today to mark this very special occasion, being the official celebration of the faculty centenary, which took place this past year. Unfortunately, we couldn't celebrate the event last year due to the COVID restrictions. Thankfully, the world is now moving towards normality, with even the hardest lockdown countries like Australia and New Zealand abandoning their zero virus policy in support of science, brought about by the success of the new vaccines that are being rolled out to control the pandemic. Also, in what at times appeared to be a hopeless situation last year, there is now hope, with even proof that treatment is possible without needing to resort to the use of veterinary ivermectin. This being the introduction of Merck's oral antiviral molnupiravir, which has been shown to reduce the risk of hospitalizations and death by approximately 50% in comparison to placebos in patients with mild to moderate COVID. The COVID-19 vaccine also gives us the opportunity to look back in history at the remarkable invention that the process of vaccination has been. As most would know, the process of vaccination goes back to 1796, when people were vaccinated with the cowpox and even horsepox virus to control the smallpox epidemic at the time. This from the discovery made by Edward Jenner following his observation that milkmaids did not get sick from smallpox, which he speculated resulted from the nodules they developed on their hands from being infected by the less serious and zoonotic cowpox virus. It may, however, surprise a few to know that the word vaccination was actually created by Jenner from the Latin word for cow being vacca. This remarkable invention led to the eradication of smallpox, the only human disease known to be eradicated. Even the concept of herd immunity is well established in the veterinary world, with numerous diseases being controlled through vaccination of a significant portion of the herd, as seen with the eradication of rinderpest, also through vaccination. Rinderpest remains the second disease to be eradicated, this time a veterinary disease, with significant contribution from pioneers such as Sir Arnold Tyler, which actually led to us being here today. Despite the proof of vaccination and the protection it offers over the last 200 years, the science of vaccines is still being questioned today through really odd fake news stories ranging from DNA alterations to being tracked through vaccines containing metallic particles. And let us not forget the most cited reason being the lack of proper R&D in its development. As a veterinary pharmacologist, I've been asked a few times by concerned persons to justify how a vaccine could enter into the market when it takes 10 years to bring out a new drug. What was different? How could this drug come out during a pandemic? But once again, we need to trust the science that is allowing our society to progress. Would it surprise you to know that the first concept of an mRNA vaccine was discovered in the late 1987 when Robert Malone performed a landmark experiment? He mixed strands of messenger RNA with drops of fat to create a kind of molecular stew. Human cells exposed to this genetic gumbo absorbed the RNA and began producing the proteins it coded for. It was also as far back as 1978 when scientists used fatty membrane structures called liposomes to transport mRNA into mice. As far back as 1991, Merck scientists evaluated the mRNA technology in mice with the aim of creating a new influenza vaccine, and only abandoned the approach because, and I quote them, the cost and feasibility of manufacture gave us pause. However, as technology improves and materials become cheaper, we saw change. In the late 2000s, we saw several big pharmaceutical companies enter into the mRNA field. You may have only heard of them recently, but BioNTech has been around since 2008 and was followed by very many more startups following the significant funding the US government put into the initiative. So to answer the question simply, the COVID vaccine is not new technology and is based on science that is 40 years old. How many people would think differently of these vaccines if they realized that the technology is based on principles that are far older than the simplest smartphone we all carry around, which, by the way, was IBM's so-called Simon personal communicator invented in 1994. Oddly, we are less concerned with a device that can really be tracked and that has an even higher safety risk than a vaccine. Taken into perspective, in the USA alone, cell phone use while driving is estimated to cause 1.6 million crashes each year and nearly 390,000 injuries, mainly from texting. In contrast, only 2 to 5 people per million vaccinated in the United States have had anaphylactic reactions, while for the more severe thrombosis and thrombocytopenia syndrome reported for the AstraZeneca vaccine, only 47 cases have been reported in over 14.8 million people vaccinated to date. So what is the point of bringing in a technology-based history lesson into my address? How better to understand the faculty today in our centenary year than by looking back to where it all started? As you all know, the faculty was started by our first dean, Professor Sir Arnold Tyler, in 1920, after setting up the program and obtaining the funding 2 years prior to the first students being admitted. Our training, however, has a very humble beginning, with only 8 students being admitted and studying at the Oxford Bacteriology Laboratory. More important than the faculty starting was the start of the impressive bacteriology laboratory that was opened in 1908, which even at that time was designed with the correct facilities to train students. And why did Tyler set up such a facility? The facility was set up as a key vaccine developing facility on the continent and focused on 2 important diseases at the time, smallpox and rinderpest. From our humble beginnings, the faculty has grown from sharing one building with the researchers of the bacteriology laboratory to getting our own campus. The veterinary campus now boasts a total area of academic buildings of 60,000 square meters on a property which is 65 hectares in size, the same size as the Hatfield campus. In addition to housing the offices of our 5 departments, the campus hosts an extensive range of laboratories, clinical facilities, and the on-site farm. Nonetheless, our premier facility is our veterinary academic hospital, which is one of the top in the world and can compete globally with the best. After a humble beginning with only those 8 students, the faculty has now grown to host over 1,500 students, with future vets on our being in training equaling nearly a fourth of those already in practice. Of course, boasting of these statistics is of no value without considering the impact of the faculty. And what better time than a centenary to consider the true impact of having a veterinary school in our country? To place our impact into perspective, let us consider what the country was before the veterinary profession entered the fray. The country was rife with diseases such as rinderpest, foot and mouth, and nagana. Rinderpest alone was killing thousands of animals, while horses easily succumbed to horse sickness in a time when they were extremely important for transportation. And human health did not fare better, with malaria and smallpox also being prevalent. So how did the faculty, staff, and graduates make things better? First and foremost, the impact of any academic institution is best measured by the impact of their alumni on society. In our 100 years, the faculty graduated 5,139 veterinarians, 1,170 veterinary nurses, 308 Masters of Veterinary Medicine graduates or specialists, 509 graduates in the Masters of Science, 66 Doctors of Veterinary Science, and 208 Doctor of Philosophy candidates were graduated. And there is no doubt that our graduates have proceeded to change not only South Africa, but also made significant impacts in many other countries. From just a financial point, our graduates in practice today contribute 9 billion to the economy through their direct actions and ensure the survival of an animal agricultural industry worth over 200 billion, especially when the entire value chain is taken into consideration. It is through their past efforts that the country was able to mount mass insecticide eradication campaigns to get rid of malaria and nagana. It was their ideas that allowed the Red Line quarantine zone to be successful and to allow for a country such as ourselves with unique wildlife to support wildlife tourism while still maintaining a disease-free status that can allow for farming. And it is not just disease mitigation. Can you imagine what wildlife conservation would be like in South Africa without our dedicated veterinarians managing the safe movement of wildlife in the private and public parks? And let us not forget the most recent and important contribution our young graduates are making during their community service year, ensuring that the much needed services of the community are delivered. All in all, the faculty is tremendously proud of the achievements of our alumni, who ensured that their core training in all aspects of veterinary science are used to the benefit of the country. Also, over this period, faculty, staff, and postgraduate students have also been involved with research and numerous groundbreaking projects being undertaken in various fields in which our staff work. Some of these include advanced studies on the musculature of the elephant trunk, which will be used in future robotics. Being part of a team that was the first in Africa to sequence a parasite genome, being the Cowdrea or heartwater parasite. Developing one of the world's most recognized clinical parasite diagnosis system being Pharmature. The validation of a toxicity model that was key to protecting endangered vulture species. Advanced studies on the Babesia parasite in small animals to further understand disease physiology in both animal and man. And let's not forget the clinical research that has been advanced and can be seen in pretty much how every species gets managed in the country. And this impact is not just historic. Our staff and students are currently involved in various research projects such as new vaccine development, new disease identification, development of new diagnostic tests, and development of advanced models for the study of human disease. And these outputs are evident in the research statistics in this last year. Even though we had restrictions brought about by COVID and the lockdown, the faculty was able to have its highest research output of 113 publication units, what translates to 251 manuscripts in a fitting celebration of our 100th year. And concurrent to the increase in these publications, we have also seen an increase in grants received. The next step for the faculty is now to increase our postgraduate student recruitment to support the research that we are doing. When looking at the achievements made by the faculty in our first 100 years, it is clear that the faculty and our alumni have made a tremendous positive impact to our country. Nonetheless, the country still faces numerous threats to animal farming. In just the recent past, the country has seen a resurgence in foot and mouth, avian influenza, horse sickness, and African swine fever, while brucellosis and tuberculosis still remains a concern. So what can be done? Moving forward, there are a number of initiatives that I would like to see come to fruition at the faculty. For the first, when one takes a critical evaluation of the research outputs of the faculty, it becomes evident that the strength of the faculty is still in the various aspects of disease research being undertaken across our 5 departments and research centers. While much has been done by the departments, I ask the question, is this enough? Can we not achieve more? I think that it is time for the faculty to bring all this research together by creating a new research center. The said center would then focus on all disease research at the faculty, be the faculty's main focus for fundraising, and focus efforts on improving animal-based agriculture in the country and Africa, with the end result being to allow farmers to access international markets and for international trade. To me, it is concerning that it has already been 125 years since Tyler suggested a fencing system to control the transmission of diseases such as rinderpest and foot and mouth along our borders. And here we are today, still using this concept when you look at the red line and its buffer zone to control foot and mouth. Perhaps it is time to come up with a new control strategy that can benefit all South African farmers. Who knows, in time, considering the current collaborations already taking place with the faculties of NAS and Health Sciences, there may be potential for the center to grow into the faculty's first research institute, for which I could think of no more fitting a name than the Tyler Institute for Veterinary Infectious Diseases. Also, of importance to consider is the area of farming we support. While the faculty has played a major role in traditional farming systems from cattle to poultry, it is not the only systems we support. In the not too distant past, we managed to migrate our focus to include support for wildlife, be it conservation or wildlife ranching. So what is next? there are other areas of farming we can still have an impact on. As an example, the faculty has not focused much on aquaculture or bee health. While other institutions in the country may have a head start on us, the faculty will be moving ahead with new research activities and postgraduate programs in these areas. As we progress in the field, I foresee that the faculty will become a leader in disease management in these farming systems. In the process, we will not only optimize production, we will be protecting our environment by ensuring healthy water bodies and healthy plants. While other institutions may be able to do the research, it is only the veterinary profession that can put this into clinical practice. And let us not forget the fourth industrial revolution. No doubt, as we move forward with technological advances, the faculty needs to change focus on how we teach, and how we look at research, and how we undertake our diagnostics. As a result, there will be a need for new ways of disease diagnostics, which may include smart devices such as those using the Internet of Things, smart ICUs, external sensor monitoring of herds, and telemetric medicine. As we learn more about these fields, they can be implemented in how the profession is able to practice, grow, and develop. To many, this may be scary, as many see a veterinarian as one who has to be directly in front of the animal, while others may fear the loss of income from competition created by persons practicing in a more distant environment. As with the start of the faculty by Tyler in 1920, these activities will drive how the profession thinks, and not vice versa. Change is scary and not always smooth, but I am of the opinion that as a profession, we are up for the task. And lastly, we have molecular medicine. As we advance the OVA, new opportunities for advanced therapeutics will become possible. Most recently, this has been seen in advanced surgery on the knee of a cat, equine tracheal surgery, and advanced cardiac surgery. Opportunities will present itself, such as 3D printing, advanced prosthetics, regenerative medicine, and cancer treatment. These are all areas in which I think we are in the optimal position to take advantage of and grow the research at the faculty. On to the focus of today. Today we are here to take part in an event that has become a major feature in the faculty's calendar. Faculty Day as an event was held for the first time on the 5th of September 1984 to showcase research undertaken by the faculty. However, as we have evolved as a faculty, so has a day. So what was once an opportunity for staff and students to present their research became too much for one single day. As a result, a new format was adopted for the day, and Faculty Day is now dedicated to the presentation of research undertaken by faculty postgraduate students, and from 2020, also by research undertaken by our veterinary students who have to do an honors equivalent project in their final year. Hopefully today allows them to gain confidence in presenting, as well as starting them on a future career in research, wherever they choose to work. Another feature that has become part of Faculty Day is the Tyler Memorial Lecture, which has been a feature of the day since its inception. However, the Tyler Memorial Lecture has a much longer history. The Tyler Lecture was first approved for presentation by the University Council back in 1962 with the aim of hosting a prominent scientist whose experience will contribute to the knowledge of veterinary or to the veterinary profession in this country. The first lecture was undertaken in 1963 by Professor Remington, who was a professor of chemical pathology of the University College Hospital Medical School in London. His talk focused on photosensitization due to porphyrins in animals. If this is of interest to anyone, the full abstract and presentation is published by the J. Sauer. One comment in this presentation that I thought would be most fitting for our centenary was made by Prof. Remington when he said, "It has been said that Tyler put South Africa on the scientific map of the world, and the institute which he founded and directed for many years is indeed revered wherever veterinary science is taught and practiced. It is with this tradition that we start Faculty Day today." With this, let me end by wishing our young presenters all the best. To our audience, wherever you are sitting and staring at your screen in your pajamas, I hope that you have an enjoyable day as our innovative faculty research is showcased. Please stay with us, as later today we'll have a little event to commemorate the centenary. Thank you, and I hope you have a lovely Faculty Day.